All right, our next guest served as Israel's most valuable spy inside Hamas for over a decade. Now, during the course of his service in Israel's internal security agency, he saved countless lives by providing information that disrupted dozens of suicide bombings. But getting that information came easier to him than to many others, given the fact that he was the son of Hamas founder Sheikh Hassan Yousef, who was arrested in 2005. Now, the younger Yousef is a convert to Christianity. He left the West Bank for California in 2007. He's the author of a brand new book recounting his harrowing experiences, and it's called Son of Hamas, a gripping account of terror, betrayal, political intrigue, and unthinkable choices. And joining me now is Mosab Hassan Yousef. Welcome aboard.
Hello.
Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
All right, well, first of all, I want to start with this idea that you describe Islam, and you basically point out that the highest level that you were brought up with is jihad, holy war.
Yes, I compare Islam to a ladder. And the first rung of that ladder starts with a traditional Muslim, and the highest rung of that ladder is jihad. This is the highest and the most holy duty you can do for the God of the Quran.
All right, and you even point out that it was Israel's very existence that bothered people that you associated with, and for your father included, they wanted the destruction of the state of Israel.
Yes, the God of the Quran hates Jews anyway, if there was occupation or not. So the problem with the Jews, that with the God of Islam, not with Muslims themselves.
Yeah. All right. And your father, there was a suicide bombing. You point out your father justified it. As long as he didn't do it, he felt he was justified in this.
Yes, he justified the suicide bombing, and every Hamas leader as well.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you one thing that you said here. If I died fighting, at least I'd die and go to heaven as a martyr. You actually believe that if you killed innocent people and strapped a bomb on yourself, you believed you'd go to heaven?
Absolutely. This is what every Muslim believes. This is a promise from the highest authority in the Muslim society, that you die for the glory of the God of the Quran, you go to heaven.
And you believed you'd have 72 virgins waiting for you?
At some point, I believed, like everybody else.
So do you feel at this point you were brainwashed, you were indoctrinated?
This is not about being brainwashed. This is how people grow up. Everything around you in that society tell you. School, street, every event that is happening around is telling you those facts about Islam.
All right. How did you become a spy for Israel? You were in jail with your father at one point, and they approached you. How did you make the conversion? Because you wanted a gun. You actually wanted to kill the people that were trying to get you to spy.
You are right. This is a long story, and this is why I wrote Son of Hamas. And the story of transformation is really long. But what I can say this moment, that I wanted to infiltrate the Israeli Shin Bet in order to play a double agent, and it ended up absolutely the opposite. So I worked for them against Hamas movement, to be honest with you, against evil, not against Hamas, not against Palestinians. I did what was right to save a human life, Palestinians and Israelis, including my dad and other Palestinian leaders.
Is your life now in jeopardy because you wrote this book?
I think it's dangerous, but my life has been in danger all the time. It's not something new for me, and
right.
I am okay with it.
All right, so what were some of the examples that you got intelligence and information that you passed on to the Israelis, saying, hey, there's going to be a suicide attack, there's going to be this attack? What would you tell them? What did you pass on?
Okay, first of all, Hamas, I wasn't a member of Hamas. I wasn't inside Hamas, and I wasn't required to be inside the movement, because if I was inside the movement, I could carry only one operation. I was required to be outside and inside and close enough without getting involved to be able to solve many puzzles. I'm from that culture, from that religion. I understand the mentality of terrorists, and I know their names. I know I don't have to listen for what they're saying, because I could understand what they're saying, and this is how we got successful.
So you grew up with this mentality that you would be a martyr, that was the highest form of Islam. The big picture, do most people that shared your faith, do they agree with you? Is this common? Because we keep hearing there's a distinction and a difference between radical Islam and mainstream Islam.
This is a big mistake.
Explain.
Comparing between moderate Muslims and fanatics. Yeah. This is not how we compare it. I compare all Muslims to me are the same. the end of the day, they believe in the God of the Quran, and they believe that this Quran is from that God. I compare
and
between them.
You're saying that Muslims, most Muslims think jihad is where they need to go.
It's not their choice. This is what, if they believe that the Quran is word by word from God.
So when let me ask this again. So when people talk about moderate Islam, you're saying it doesn't exist?
It doesn't exist. But I tell you what happens, that Muslims have moralities, responsibilities, logics more than their God. The most criminal, terrorist Muslim has morality, a minimum of humanity more than his God. Their God is a terrorist and ignorant.
All right, last question. You had a discussion with your father. He knows that you were working for Israel. What was that conversation like?
He was absolutely forgiving, but when I went public with the story, he couldn't handle the pressure from his God and from his society. His God unskinned his humanity, and now he divided between me and him.
All right, Son of Hamas, fascinating book. I couldn't put it down. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And time now to check